Thanks for joining us for another edition of Communication Steroids, the weekly podcast that shows you how to become a better public speaker, a more effective presenter, and a conscious and clear communicator. This is where you can find tips, tools, and techniques that you can put to use today. Here are your hosts of Communication Steroids, Tim Gonzo Gordon and Roger Pike.
Hey, it's the podcast, and it's communicationsteroids.com. My name is Tim Gonzo Gordon.
And I'm Roger Pike. Thanks for being with us.
Before we do anything else, we want to ask you to go to Facebook and friend us.
How
like
do you do
us.
that?
What is it this week?
It's easy.
Is it the like button? I think it's the like button.
Well,
because it used to be friend, and now it's the like button.
We're easy to like, honest to goodness.
Easy to find on Facebook, too.
We'll tell them how.
Just go to Facebook, check in, log in, whatever you call it. Look for Communication Steroids in the search box, and we're the only ones there that have those two words associated with us, so you'll find us. I got to tell you, I was, before we started tonight, here about 6 o'clock, I went to about an hour-long webinar on Facebook marketing.
Well,
interesting stuff.
Yeah, you were talking about it in the green room.
And I was telling you a little bit about it. It was somewhat disappointing because for an hour-long webinar, the guy spent literally 30 minutes bragging about all the people. But first of all, I started with the sob story. I was so broke, and I didn't know what happened. Then I found a mentor, and then I'm making hundreds of thousands of dollars.
Or just jealous.
And then I'm working with Tony Robbins, and I'm working with Brian Tracy. I mean, and this went on for literally half an hour. And then he just went into the techniques, and he had, I wrote some notes, and he did have one or two really good techniques. But, of course, then at a quarter till, here came the pitch.
So for 15 minutes, he actually gave you useful information.
Yeah, about.
For 45 minutes, it was either I'm cool or the pitch.
Exactly. He took an hour of my time and gave me about one or two tidbits, which, unfortunately, oddly enough, is about what you get out of one of these webinars these days. And then they try and sell you something for, $1,200. Yeah, well.
We ain't buying.
I should know better. I really should. So tonight on the podcast, we wanted to talk about...
Well, we thought that we would mention to you and talk with you about those skills which are going to be required of the next generation of public information specialists.
So public relation folks who in old days would... put on the press hat, right? No, that'd be the reporter, right?
That would be the reporter,
but the press guy would be the one that would call the reporter and say, yeah, Jim, we got this new gizmo going on. The new widget's coming out. Write us up, dude.
Right. Or they put out a press release and mail it out or fax it out. And,
exactly.
And that's the way it used to be. And I know that because I was a reporter and I would get hundreds or at least dozens of faxes a week.
Yeah, you'd get dozens a day, and they'd go right into the round can unless there was something you were looking for.
Mostly, unless it was something that caught my attention.
Unless it was something that came from somebody you had a good working relationship with.
Exactly. Yeah. So, but what's going to be, in 5 years, what are you going to need to know in order to be a competent public relations specialist?
So looking ahead the next generation, not 50 years, but 5 to 10 years, some of the things, the skills, of course, the basics still are important.
Still apply.
Writing.
You still need to know how to write. You still need to know how to string words together in an understandable way.
And a clever and creative way to catch people's attention. And, boy, with today's bloggers and stuff, we can complain quite a bit. In fact, we have. About the past, about people not knowing how to use your, there, it's.
Yeah, exactly. And, the fact of the matter is, YOU''RE is your.
Is a
as
contraction.
In you are.
Yes.
You are going to the store. So your, YOU''RE are going to the store.
Not YOUR.
YOUR is possessive.
Store. Yes.
It is yours. It is your car.
So if they write
not
your
car,
if they write you're going to the store, YOUR, my first thought is your what is going to the store.
Exactly. YOUR is ownership. YOU''RE is a contraction of the two words you are. Know it. Use it.
It goes back to the days of writing. If you're still in school and you're listening to our podcast, oh my God! If you're still in school listening to our podcast, take creative writing classes. They're very good for you. Technical writing, perhaps it's a little more studious sort of course, but take writing classes. Now, as a kid, I always wanted to write more. I wanted to write fiction. I've written certainly fiction through the years. Written a lot of interesting things, and all that skills that I developed come in handy when I have to blast out a blog post in a half an hour and make it good.
Yeah. And the thing is you show competency, and competency is something that the people who are going to buy things from you They expect that.
Yeah.
They expect you to be competent. And one of the things they expect you to be competent at is stringing words together in proper form and in proper grammar. Now, before we go too far with that,
Yes.
I did want to throw in this one caveat. There's a good word for you. This one proviso.
Yeah.
While it is still important to use words in with their proper meanings, like it's, and your, while that's still vital, it's still critical, we no longer are required to be quite as formal in all settings as we used to be. In fact,
It's true.
In fact, these days it is much more proper to be informal, to write more for the ear instead of for the eye, more conversationally.
Especially on blogs. And if you're called to be a public relations person these days, you're going to have a skill of writing for a blog. And we'll talk about that in just a minute.
Mm-hmm.
The other part, of course, the basic skills of a public relations person is presentation skills, public speaking skills. Now, they may or may not come into play depending on your particular position.
Right.
But certainly, if you want to move ahead and advance in public relations, that is a very essential skill.
Well, I want to talk about that in two ways. But one more thing about the writing. I mean, when we're talking about writing for the ear, and people may not know what that is, we know because we've written for radio so much.
Yes.
But writing for the ear means that you don't necessarily have to write complete sentences.
Correct.
Because we don't speak in complete sentences. We speak in phrases and thoughts, sentence fragments. And as long as the context is understood, and as long as the meaning is clear, for the most part, writing in sentence fragments is as acceptable as speaking in them. So that's the way that the writing goes. Now, in terms of oral communications, in terms of public speaking, you're going to do it as a public information specialist, whether you think you are or not. It may not be traditional in the sense of going out in front of the public and speaking, but you're still going to have to make pitches. You're still going to have to lead your team. You're still going to have to do team meetings. You are going to be required to have basic public information, public presentation skills.
Yes,
you
exactly.
just are.
Yeah.
You just are.
Yeah.
Get it through your head. You're going to stand in front of people, and you're going to talk to them. Just know it, learn it, love it, live it.
And the only way you can really know it, learn it, love it, live it, all of these skills is to do it. And do it often.
Yeah.
The more you do it, the better you get at it.
Weird how that works.
I'm practicing for this, rehearsing and working and finessing this speech that you hate me to go do, but I'm going to mention it again. But it's interesting because every time I go through it, I get a better handle of what it is. It's a 45-minute presentation. Yeah. I get a better handle of how things fit in there and how things don't fit that I'm now pulling out and losing something because maybe it expands it more than I want. And so the more you go through a longer presentation, I'm sure that Steve Jobs rehearses his stuff. I can't imagine him doing that, not nailing every last second of that, knowing
Tony
exactly
Robbins,
what it is.
All of them.
Brian Tracy, if he's doing a presentation, he's going to do it the night before, maybe the morning of. He's still going through it to figure out exactly how it all works.
Now, that doesn't mean that he's rehearsing word for word that presentation, because we've talked about that in terms of how you memorize and how you and the best ways to present things. You're not memorizing it.
No, yeah.
But you are presenting it so that you understand the basic ideas and how you and the structure of how you intend to present them.
You know what comes after this element. You know what comes after that, and you're just moving ahead.
But those presentation skills are absolutely vital, and you're going to need them. You're also going to need the basic skills in press relations and media relations that you've always had before. There are going to be times when you may need to talk to a reporter, or may need a reporter to help you launch a new product that you're really excited about, something like that. You may want to get that out into the media and the press. You're still going to have to know how to handle those folks as well. But let's face it, the traditional media, print and broadcast, those aren't where your critics are going to come from, and at least a lot of them. And these days, if you're going to answer your critics, you better understand social media. That's the third
social media is where we are just about getting to, because there's so much going on in social media, and it is a very quick changing world. And even the social media experts probably could not name all of those moving parts, because by the time they named one, the part would move to a different place.
Yeah. Yesterday I couldn't spell social media expert. Today I are one.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I don't know that there is such a thing as social media experts. Certainly there are people that have expertise in some areas of it, and you should develop your expertise as best you can, and that means spending time in it, learning how Facebook works, learning how Twitter works, LinkedIn.
Blogs.
Yes. What?
Blogs.
Oh, blogs.
Blogs.
I thought you said blocks.
Learn blogs, not just in order to create them, and you are going to want to create them, because that's an absolutely key part of a marketing package these days. Is a solid, well built and fresh blog.
If I can give you one tip about a blog,
yeah,
it's not about you. It's not about your company. It's about your readers and solving their problems and answering their challenges.
Useful
Exactly,
information in your blog. Yeah.
Same with YouTube. I mean, YouTube is a great way to reach out to people. YouTube, of course, is the second largest search engine on the internet. That may change when Facebook takes that over, but
Yeah.
which they're well on their way to. But your skills in the new PR world the next 5 to 10 years, and already today, you should know how to shoot a YouTube video, how to plan who's going to be in it, how to write it, how to shoot it, how to edit it, how to upload it, how to market it, how to get it. I mean, okay, you're going to do a trade show or a conference in 6 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, what videos are you going to release before the thing happens? What videos do you plan to do on site and get those up before the show's over? What post-show videos are you going to do? Plan them.
Well, and that's how you're going to pique people's interest and attention these days. I mean, you're still going to want to. I mean, if you're, for example, if you're going to do it, going to be at a trade show, or you're going to be doing a conference or a convention of some sort, you're still going to want to use the traditional approach of getting out your mailing. Getting out your mailers, your snail mail mailers. You're also going to want to advertise in trade journals, all those things that used to be done in order to get the word out about a convention or that sort of thing. But you're also going to want to blog it. You're also going to want to YouTube it. You're also going to want to put out interesting video. You're going to want to have video from the year before and how much fun everybody had and how much they learned. And you're going to want to integrate that. And you're going to want to know how to use the software to integrate that.
Quick case study that I ran across just last week. A guy that I talked to was doing a social media program. He's trying to get 50 to 100 people to show up to this thing, and they had a list of 1,500 people. So they put money ahead of time into, like 6 weeks ahead of time, sent out a direct mailing postcard, and a really nice direct mail piece that they sent out. They got 3 responses.
Wow.
So about 4 days ahead of time, maybe a week ahead of time, they said, we got to do something. We're not getting anything here. So they sent an email blast out, and they got about 70 people to sign up. And they started going heavily on their Facebook and Twitter accounts, and they filled it out to about 75 people altogether that signed up for the thing. So it was social media and typical. I'd say email sort of straddles the line between traditional and social media because it's been around for a long time, but it still is electronic.
It still happens through the internet.
Yes, and so I would say that's some of the new media.
I want to go ahead.
But that got the results. It was the social media that really got the results, not the direct mail piece.
We're going to see that more and more and more. And by the way, when someone is critical of your product or your idea, it's going to happen less and less through the traditional media and more through other critics, other analysts, other
like the guy
experts,
that had 10 million views of his video, United Breaks Guitars.
Yeah, there you go. Exactly. Your critics are going to, that's how they're going to reach people now, and they're going to reach oodles of them. Batches of them.
If there's an issue that someone puts out a tweet on and there's a good blog post and there's got good video to it and there's a good story, it will spread like wildfire. It'll travel around the world 20 times before you as a PR guy can even think about responding.
I want to look right into the camera and address myself to a particular group of people, and that is you PI. Yeah. We are so mature here. You people who have guys in the corner offices, the suits, the big head honchos, the C-level people who look out over the entire skyline from their office windows. I want to address my comments to those of you who do PR for them. I'm looking right straight at you. If you work for those people and you think, I'm never going to have to use this social media stuff because the suits in the upper level offices, the C-level guys, they don't believe it. They still think it's fad and
toys.
It's kid stuff. It's never going to be important. So I don't have to learn that stuff. Well, they're going to die.
They're the people that are going to be doing it with the dinosaur bones.
Those guys, those C-level executives, those suits, those Brooks Brothers button-down guys, they're going to die.
Yeah.
They're going to get fired. They're going to go away. They're going to retire. They're going to live in Mallorca or where I want to live, Cabo. They're going to do that. And the new guys, they're going to be hipper, smart, guys and girls. They're going to be hipper, smarter, younger, faster. They're going to understand what the net is about. They're going to understand what social media is about. And you need to know it. You need to understand it.
Yeah. Anyway, that's the podcast, Roger. I love the soapbox thing you did there. Yes. What do you mean already?
Done?
Yeah, we're done.
Wow.
I know. You want to do it again?
I do, yeah. Three's a charm.
Three's a charm. I'm Tim Gordon.
I'm Roger Pike.
Be sure to like us on Facebook. Please. We'd love to see you there.
Boy, isn't that pathetic? Please like us.
It's the podcast. I feel like Sally Fields all of a sudden.
A flying nun?
No, when she said, when she won the Oscar.
Oh.
Yeah. Anyway, wrapping it up.
I'm Roger Pike.
Have a good one. See ya. I'm Tim Gordon.